Canon Events. I've been doing a lot of scrolling as per usual, and that's how I find video ideas nowadays. I saw that a lot of people were talking about Canon Events, or specifically male Canon Events, and now people have been making videos where they put their top 10 Canon Events on a list. Now I thought about it and I'm like, you know what if I put mine on a list? So yeah, let's just get right into it. Number 1, fumbling, a 10 out of 10. It happens to the best of us. Sometimes you just choke. There's really nothing you can do about it. One day you might be Curry from 3, and then the next you might be Curry from the moon. And now unfortunately, I've had my fair share of experiences of fumbling, and sometimes I get afraid of fumbling, and that ends up being my downfall. And to cope with the unfortunate scenario of fumbling, I may find myself doing something such as working out, or making a video, or hell, even reading a book. Literally anything to take my mind off that shit. Getting rejected, definitely one of the worst feelings on planet Earth, but eventually, the more you get rejected, the more you'll be able to just take the L on the chin and walk away, and not really think about it that much later. Hey, I mean, it's a learning experience, so we all gotta go through it eventually. That's the type of shit that will build crazy character development. Next, we got the day you realize you are not going pro. A lot of people growing up have ambitions of being a professional athlete, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, whatever. And as you get older and go into high school, people will start getting offers from crazy ass Division I or Ivy League schools, and then you're over there with nothing, 0 offers. Like, that's gotta be one of the most painful feelings of all time. I mean, for me, I realized that when I was in middle school. Like, I just got benched every fucking day of baseball, and I knew at that moment, maybe it's time for me to hang up the hat with baseball. Maybe it's time for me to retire. So in 2018, I officially hung up the hat with baseball. And as sad as it is, sometimes you gotta move on. I've been playing baseball for 8 years of my life at that point. After you realize you gotta hang up the hat, you just gotta accept it, bro. You just gotta accept that it's over. You are no longer a starter on the football team. Some people don't let that go, which is kind of crazy. Like, come on, bro. You gotta let it go at some point. Number 3, we got getting embarrassed in front of a large crowd. I don't care what anybody says. There is no stronger Canon event than public embarrassment. And once I experienced this, I was a changed man. And the first time I experienced this is exactly when I started caring too much about what people thought of me. Obviously, you should care to some extent, but obviously you should not let it control you. And the first time this happened to me, this is around the time roast battles became popular. Everyone was roasting each other. And then I didn't even say anything. I was just laughing. And they pointed at me like, bro, why are you laughing? You haven't said a word this entire lunch period. And then the table started laughing. Everybody at the table, this is a big ass lunch table, by the way. And I was fighting back tears, okay? I was trying to hold in the tears, but I knew it was true. So at the time, it cut deep, even though really shouldn't have. It's not serious. It was a roast battle. But then again, I was 12 years old, so I thought my life was over. And if you're somebody that has social anxiety, you're definitely going to be terrified of this. I was somebody that would let these moments live in my head rent-free. I would think about it all the time. But when you remember, it's really not that deep. Everyone's going to forget about it. Eventually, you just let it go. And life just becomes a lot better. Now we got getting a bad haircut. I think everyone's gotten a bad haircut at least once in their life. And if you didn't, well, I guess you're just really lucky. That's why you gotta find somebody to cut your hair like every single time. You just can't get a random barber because you don't know if they're gonna mess it up. You don't have a barber or stylist that you're locked in with. Yeah, dog, it's like playing Russian roulette with your hair. You don't know who is gonna cut your hair. You don't know if they're even qualified to cut hair. This might be their first day on the job, and you may walk out of there bald. I don't know. Most likely not, but you get the point. And during this bad cut era, your social life just gets hit with a huge nerf. Your friends are probably gonna roast you. You're gonna be sentenced to 2 months with no female interaction. It's over. I don't know if we were just born for this cutscene to be installed into our life, but literally everybody goes through this for some reason. Like, so many of my friends have gotten such terrible cuts to the point where they had to restart. Any confidence you had at that point, it gets completely stripped until your hair grows back. Then we got number 5, discovering insane family lore. There's nothing like finally getting to that age where you start to find out and understand the family lore. And I was just a dumbass kid on his iPad in like the early 2010s, but now I'm tapped into the family lore. I know what's going on. And now most of the lore in the Duckalo family is good lore. Like, I don't think we really have bad lore at all, to be honest. But sometimes there's a little bit of beef that goes down, and I don't know, it just happens in every family, to be honest. But then don't even get me started on that old photo photo book. Every family has one, and then you open it, you'll start seeing pictures from like the 1960s. And it just blows my mind finding out about people that I didn't even know existed. And it really does interest me sometimes looking back at old photos of my family. Like, it is kind of cool to understand and discover the lore of the Duckalo family. Now, if it's bad lore in the family, you'll look at the family members completely different after. And next we have getting roasted for being fat or skinny. One point in my life, Oreo Cakesters was my go-to gas station snack. I was like 100 pounds in the 3rd grade, which is kind of crazy. And by 5th, 6th grade, I lost the rest of the weight, and I was very skinny until I started going to the gym in 2022. And I actually put on a little bit of muscle. I mean, I'm not skin and bones anymore, but I still got some work to do, obviously. But sometimes that one dude that gets roasted for being fat in the friend group, he'll come back and just turn his life around completely. He'll have the glow up of the century, and it'll just come back a new person. Like, it's pretty much like the Nick Avocado transformation all over again. And this really skinny dudes out there, they're sick of being compared to the SpongeBob photo, so they hit this legendary gym arc and they never look back. Then a couple years later, they're benching 300 pounds like it's nothing. And speaking of working out, everybody has at least searched this video once. How to get abs in 5 minutes. Everybody's done it. I don't care who you are. I know in my Oreo Cakester days, I definitely did this for sure, because I wanted to get abs in 5 minutes. I was too lazy to put in the work and get them. It had to happen. I needed to get them before the pool party I was going to, or whatever it was. And the amount of minutes I wasted watching these videos was insane. But then you start to realize, okay, there's no shortcuts to getting ripped. You got to put in the work. You got to work out pretty consistently. Back then, I just had to realize there was no way around the gym. If it was that easy, you could just get them in 5 minutes. We would all have abs. And now we got the first all-nighter. Some of you probably have never pulled an all-nighter in your life, and some of you are like, I pull all-nighters all the time. And if you do, go to sleep, all right? Your body needs it. Now, my first all-nighter was when I was in high school. I think it was in like 2020. I stayed up all night watching YouTube videos, and then I just slept during my Zoom classes. I think I talked about this in my quarantine video already, but I remember it was just me and the teacher in one of my classes, and it was probably one of the most awkward moments in my life. But whether you played video games all night or whatever you decided to do, pulling an all-nighter was something that we all had to experience at one point or another. And of course, I would get that feeling of nervousness because I know if my parents walked into my room and saw me up at 4 in the morning, they would have been pissed. And I wouldn't have been able to play Xbox with my friends at the time. And this definitely played a part in my garbage sleep schedule, because sometimes I'm going to bed at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. It's bad. But once I get older, I'll definitely develop a more consistent sleeping schedule. And now we got running away from home, or running away in air quotes. We've all done it or thought about doing it. I walked about halfway down my neighborhood and I realized I was gonna miss all the dino nuggets, so I needed to come back. But every time I would come back, I felt like that one ant with the bindle, and obviously my parents were responsible for me, so they had to let me inside. They had to deal with my stupid ass shenanigans all day. I really don't know why I thought running away was gonna solve all my problems. Shit gets hard. It happens. Responsibilities pop up, and it was gonna be even worse if I left the house. I don't even remember the reasoning as to why I quote-unquote ran away. Like, okay, bro, no one's running away. Now we got your first job. Okay, this is at least top 5. There's no way. Everybody has had that one job that's just absolute trash. And my first job was at a supermarket around the time of the pandemic. And I was trying to make the most of it. Talk to coworkers whenever I could. I worked with some of my friends, which is cool, but I barely got to talk to them because the managers would get on my head every time I would, even though there was like not a single soul in the store. And a lot of times I had to deal with bitchy customers, and some people like customer service jobs, and you know what, if that's for you, then I guess go for it. But that shit was definitely not me. That's all I'm gonna say. I dipped as soon as I could. Now we got the feeling of being behind in life. The classic damn I'm wasting my life realization will just hit you like a truck sometimes. A lot of times I spend too much time making YouTube videos, okay? I will admit that. So I had to just go enjoy my life a little bit. The past few months I took a break from Burdie, so I had to go travel a little bit, hang out with friends more, and just really enjoy what life had to offer. And sometimes when you think you're wasting your life, then you'll realize you're behind. Like, there's already 18-year-olds getting drafted into the NBA. Like, ref, do something. Like, what the hell's going on? But yeah, definitely a wake-up call for sure. For me especially, to just get my shit together and start improving. But yeah, jokes aside, aside, obviously not everybody's got to be a professional athlete. You just got to make the best out of your life and just work hard and just keep improving every day. And by working hard, I do not mean doing some stupid ass stunt on TikTok for views, because for whatever reason, there's some people out there resorting to that option. I mean actually grinding towards whatever you want your dream career to be. Another Canon event's gotta be quarantine. I made a video about it on the end screen right now. Just click on it.